What's up, guys? Alright, so we are on to our third video, okay? I'm just trying to show you guys every single step. I know some of it may be boring. Like I said in my very first video, feel free to skip ahead to the different sections that you need, whether it's you need a little help with it, not sure, or you just kind of find it boring, you want to skip ahead, feel free to. I got no problem with that. There was a little more involved with the last video that I decided to cut it short when installing the knuckles and the lower control arms. A little more involved than I actually thought. I figured it'd be a quick, easy video, but I'll show you guys, for those of you that are just jumping in now, we just installed the carriers and the knuckles along with the hex hubs and the steering links, okay? So we are now on to the part where we're actually going to start mounting this front end up to the vehicle. And this part is very simple. So, according to step 16, alright, we are going to be attaching the steering links to the steering rack. And if you guys take a look here, alright, there's your steering rack inside of there. What's cool is Proline has already fitted the steering rack with the screws, so all you got to do is take your links, slide them on, and put the nuts on them. And that is step 16. So we will do just that. Okay, slide both of them on like so. Walla 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 walla. And we will take two of our 3mm lock nuts. Okay. I am like so excited about this that I do apologize if at times I miss information. I just kind of get into doing this a lot to the point where I kind of forget that I'm on camera a little. So we will tighten those up. Let's pull that out. So now going to step 17. Okay, we're just going to slide this in place, and those three holes in the front, we're just going to put 3 screws in, and I actually have to hold this upright, so a little bit. Actually, no, I might be able to do it just like this for you. Okay, so we will hold this. There is 3 4x10 countersunk screws, which has the little bevel, so that way it sits into the aluminum. It's nice and flush, doesn't pop out and grab things and rip the screw apart when you're actually driving it. So we'll take that one. Woo! Awesome. So now we have the front end completely in. Take a look at that. That is sweet. You know what? Let me tilt this up a little bit. There we go. Check that out. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. A lot of very smooth. Sweet. So now, one of the last part of this is actually to put the screws into the front here, holding the mount from the actual chassis on the upper half to the mount that holds the front bumper in place. And to do that, you are going to need two 4x14mm screws. Okay, line them up and screw them down. Alright, guys, so while I'm screwing in these 2 front screws, holding it on in the front end here, I noticed that it seemed like the plastics were a little out of line from each other, putting these 2 screws in. Weren't by much, but if you find out that the holes aren't lining up, no big deal. Just, pull the plastic a little bit, move it around just so you can, twist it, get it so the holes line up. But once they line up, everything seems fine, everything seems straight and true. So don't worry about that if you run into that little bit of a problem. So that's that. Let me just double check, make sure they are nice and tight. Good. Good. Awesome. Now we are moving on to the rear shock tower. So one last look at the front end here. Front end is all set, ready to go. 19 through 21 is pretty much exactly, steps 19 through 21 that is almost exactly like the front end being set up, okay? Again, just remember to check the instructions and make sure that when you put the screws in, they are going in the correct direction, that the shock tower is facing the correct direction. So we're going to mimic the picture here, alright? So according to the picture, I'll show you guys, alright? Voila. So according to the picture, we have it coming in from the back side. We do need a washer. Slide the washer on. They want us to put it on the inner holes. You are going to need to screw them down. Then you're going to put the ball end in on the outside here first, and then put the lock nut on, okay? So let's speed right through this. Done. Pretty simple. Remember to make sure that the plastic pivot balls are facing in the correct direction. Okay. Voila. Now moving on to the rear camber links. Again, I've already preset these up because that does take a little bit of time assembling them. These are just like the front ends. You have a small pivot ball and you get a large one. The small pivot ball is going to go onto the actual shock tower itself. Okay. Large one is going to go down towards the knuckle. Sorry. Again, as I stated in the other videos, make sure that this little indent right there is facing the driver's side. So let's get those mounted up. Okay. And those are going to go into the middle hole on the back side of the shock tower. You will need 2 of the 3x12 low profile screws, which are the flat headed ones. Sorry for it being blurry. Done. Okay, moving on. We are going to mount it up to the actual truck. Okay, so if you take a look, down in there you got 4 holes. That's where it's going to mount. The links and these screw holes are going to be facing backwards. Okay. And you are going to take 4 of the 3x16 millimeter screws and put them, mount them up. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too difficult about that. Actually, I'll move this out so you guys can see a little bit. Again, when you're dealing with more than 1 or 2 screws, it's not a bad idea once you get them just slightly snug to go back through and tighten them in a crisscross pattern, or even install them in a crisscross pattern. That way, whatever that piece is that you're installing sits level. Alright guys, so we've got the rear body post tower mounted up. Nothing fancy there. 4 screws into the rear shock tower. Okay. But we have the rear body post, and as you can see, it is very, very long. So we actually need to trim this down because according to the book, it's actually going to sit all the way flush. Alright? And so we don't need all that extra from here. So I'm just going to do a quick little snip, about even, because I'm not really putting on any other bodies. I'm just using a pair of dikes here. We're just gonna cut, make a little trim, smooth it out, and there you go. Now we get a shorter body post. So we'll slide that in on both. You're gonna take your, excuse me, sorry, 3 by 14 millimeter screws, and you're just gonna screw those in. Okay. So all that's left now is we just need to install the set screws and O-rings for the caps that hold on the body. And as I said before in the when we first did the front end, you're going to take your set screw, you're going to take your O-ring, and you're going to push halfway down on it. Okay? Roughly halfway down. I know, not the clearest picture, sorry. Okay? And then you're going to just thread it right into the top. And yeah, like I said, thread it right into the top all the way until the O-ring sits down in the little bevel. I'll show you guys exactly what I mean here in 2 seconds. Okay, so here's one, and as you guys can see, the O-ring sits flush right inside of there. Okay, that's why you only put it halfway, because you need a little bit for the caps to go in. So we'll do the other side here real quick. Voila, and there you go. Rear shock tower, all set. Front, all done. So we got ourselves a sweet looking truck here. Clear this out. Alright, so there you guys go. Truck's getting there further and further. So I'm going to stop the video here, and then we're going to work on assembling the rear drive shafts, and then putting the knuckles and lower control arms on, so we can finish that up. That'll be on the next video. Alright guys, see you later.